Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Thursday, the 18th day of June. It is National Go Fishing Day. We should go fishing. It's also National Splurge.
I've not been fishing since I was probably, well, I know I was a little kid. Well, I went on a fishing boat. I didn't actually fish.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember you vomited all over the place. We went deep sea fishing, and we found out Heidi's not a boat person.
I am on a lake. I'm fine on a lake. Not on the ocean.
You plan on going on a boat somewhere. I'm not. I'll stay on the shore and watch.
Please, you've been on boats with me.
Yeah.
On lakes.
Yeah, isn't that good?
Not an
It's
ocean
National Splurge Day, which is also the noise that came out of Heidi. Oh, never mind. And National Career Nurse Assistance Day today, which is kind of cool. And it's a Thursday. That means we have a Dear John letter. Our Dear John letter today is from, it's signed, I Don't Like Cats.
Okay.
So you can chime in if you'd like to in the show notes for today. Actually, you can do it on our Facebook page. Yeah. So I posted it yesterday on Facebook at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A new study by the Guinness Book has determined the world's tallest dog is 7 foot tall.
Holy cow. Is that standing on its hind legs, or that's just standing on all
Great Dane
fours?
by the name of Freddie. The world's oldest living Great Dane at just 8 years old as well.
Oh,
so
they
Great
don't
Danes
live long.
don't live very long.
I
No.
love those dogs, though. They are gorgeous.
Was Scooby-Doo a Great Dane?
No.
What was Scooby-Doo?
I don't know.
I was thinking it was a Great Dane. Anyway, Freddie is 7 foot tall, and I think that would have to be standing up.
Has to be.
Yeah, it'd have to be. Certainly wouldn't be laying down. So there you go. Thanks for listening to today's surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
This is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. A Monroe, Louisiana man facing disturbing the peace drunkenness charges after allegedly being naked at a gas station. According to a report, 29-year-old Jesse Dearman Jr. Says here they were called on this man because there was a naked man in a store. Police officers arrived. They took the man into custody. He identified himself as Jesse Dearman, said he was naked because he was attacked by a spider and took his clothes off for safety.
Now, you know what? I can understand that. To try to get rid of the spider, I would do just about anything
Oh, yeah, you get a
to
spider.
get a spider off.
You got a
of
spider
me.
on your shoulder, honey.
I get that.
Can't hurt me
I'm
for trying.
sorry, I get that.
She's my wife, by the way. That's why I said that. They asked him, have you taken any controlled substances? He replied that he did not know what that was, but on a scale of 1 to 10, they said that he was at a 4. He was booked on Thursday morning for disturbing the peace and one municipal charge as well. Then the suspect posted bond. So they don't know what he was on. He doesn't know what he was on, but he was on something. That's what happens when your brain's on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live has a new film called The King of Staten Island, and it was mysteriously pulled from drive-in theaters. So there were drive-in theaters that said, oh, hey, we'll air that. And it was out, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're not going to air that anymore. So apparently it wasn't.
Apparently they saw it and said no.
Well, here's the thing. I have two friends. Well, I have more than two friends, hopefully. But I know I have at least one friend that liked it and one friend that didn't. Because one person posted on Facebook, they thought it was really cool. They like Judd Apatow movies, and they like Pete Davidson. They thought it was awesome. Learned a lot about him. And then I had another one that said, do not waste your money on this drivel. So I think a lot of it is
That
going to
must
be...
have been what the drive-in theaters thought
Apparently,
as well.
I don't know. But it's one of those things where you like it or you don't. Kind of like this next thing. Tiger King.
Yeah.
Texas
for
prison.
sure.
Where Joe Exotic is staying right now. Okay, he's locked up there. They've denied reports that they're keeping fan mail from the Tiger King. So if you send him a letter, they're saying, he got it. So... he hasn't responded to me either. Don't feel bad. Thanks for listening to Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. Spain's bullfighters are seeking a bailout from the Spanish government after many of the bulls were sent to the slaughterhouse. So since the bulls are no longer around, they have nothing to fight, and they're like, hey, what about us? So I never really thought about that. But that's another what would you call it, casualty of the COVID crisis. International health experts are questioning how Russia could still have such incredibly low coronavirus totals. They have no idea. They're like, oh, it's like the reports are really low. 3 different doctors slipped and fell out the same hospital window.
There's got to be something
after
there.
talking about their numbers. So I'm pretty sure after that, all the doctors are like, I see nothing. Everything looks good to me.
I haven't had any patients.
We've got nobody. We've got no problems. So I'm not really sure why they don't want to give their numbers and let the numbers out. But yeah, I've got a link to the story, and I don't know if you remember, but we talked about one doctor right after having something not so great to say about how Russia was handling their coronavirus pandemic. He, wink, wink, fell out a window. And then another doctor said, well, I think that he was right. And he fell out, wink, wink, the same window. And then a third one.
Yep.
So 3 doctors fell out the same window, so I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. A Belgian prince got coronavirus after breaking quarantine to go to a party in Spain. Went to Spain, got coronavirus. I'm like, oh, that didn't go well. Wow, we got a lot of international stuff here. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is allowing people who don't live together to have intercourse for the first time since the coronavirus lockdowns. Boris, do you really think that was up to you?
Yeah, I don't think that anybody's
I'm not
listening
sure
to that.
how you think that you're in charge of policing that, but I'm glad to know you think you have that kind of power. Interesting stuff. India has increased their penalty for killing a cow. Now, if you kill a cow in India, you'll go to jail for 10 years.
Yikes.
10 years in jail. Rihanna, the musician, she's a singer. She is paying $415,000 to stay in the Hamptons for 1 month this summer. So
holy cow.
We should see if she wants to stay in our place.
I'd let her stay here for
$415,000 for the month. Yeah. I'll even make you breakfast. And one last story here. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian have sold their Soho loft. They bought it in 2018. And they sold the apartment for how much, Heidi?
I have no idea.
Would you believe $5 million?
I absolutely would.
Yeah, that's how much it was. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian sold their Soho loft for $5 million. So there you go. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
And it's time right now for Dear John Letters. All right, I'm actually kind of excited to see what Heidi has to say about this. And I also love the advice folks are giving online and encourage you, if you have some advice, to give some on our Facebook page as well. But first, let's get to the Dear John letter. Here we go. Dear John, I heard you ask for funny letters a few weeks ago. Not sure how funny this is, but I'm sure some people will be amused. I have a neighbor who has 3 cats. They're all outdoor cats. So we also kind of have 3 cats. Sadly, I'm allergic to cats, so I try to keep them out of my yard. Last week, I carried in groceries and left my kitchen door open. Somehow, one of their cats came in while I was not looking. That night, I was all stuffy and puffy. I had no idea the cat was in my house. But while I was watching a movie with my husband, the cat jumped on my lap. I screamed like crazy. My husband caught the cat and put him outside. He found it pretty amusing, but I'm not happy at all. When we had dogs, we needed to keep them inside or on a leash.
Yep.
Why is it okay for cats to roam all over the neighborhood? How do I keep these cats out of my yard and out of my house? Nothing violent, please. Signed, I don't like cats. So, my beautiful bride Heidi over here can probably empathize a little bit because you're allergic to cats.
I'm very allergic to cats.
And you've never been a big fan because it's like they know that you're allergic to them. So every time we're anywhere where there's cats, what do? They're like a magnet to you.
Right. They want to be around me. They want me to pet them. They want me to touch them. They're rubbing on me.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because I've never seen anything like it. It's like there's some unwritten thing hanging on Heidi, just like a big tag that says she's, come over and bug her if you're a cat, because I don't know, they don't do that to me. I've never seen them do that to anyone else. But it's because you're allergic to them. It's like, hey, I want to come over and hang out with you. So we've had neighborhood cats in our yard. We've never had one in our house. There was a cat in our garage one day. I remember going out in the garage and the cat took off. I don't know what it was up to in there, changing the oil or something. I'm not sure. But I don't know what.
But I get her point. I mean,
it does
dogs.
I never
your
really
dog
thought
has
of it.
to be on a leash, or it has to be in your yard in a fenced-in yard.
Have you ever thought of that? Because I never thought of it until this letter. It never even dawned on me.
But it's perfectly okay for cats to just wander. I don't think that's right.
Because if my dog was running around the neighborhood, they would actually. There's a number to call and say, "Hey, there's a dog on the list." But if there's a cat running around the neighborhood, can you call on that too?
I think you can if you want your neighbors all upset with you because you got their cat arrested.
Good luck catching the cat. That would not be easy either. Anyway, if you have some advice, because the questions are this: when we had dogs, why is it okay? I don't know if we're going to have an answer for why it's okay, but how do I keep these cats out of my yard and out of my house? If you have some advice, and she says in here, non-violent, please, and I agree with that. So nothing mean. Don't be mean. But if you know of something that makes cats not want to show up, and I don't know if that's just having a big dog, maybe that's the answer, or if there's something else that you know of, again, non-violent, you could chime in on our Facebook page. I wonder if a Google search would tell me that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so, but...
My grandpa always used a BB gun.
Well, that's not the right answer. Did you hear the non-violent,
That's not violent. You're not killing it. It's not violent.
It is very violent. You
just
don't shoot it.
Stinging it a little bit, and then it won't come back in your yard.
Do not listen to Heidi. That's not
I'm not saying break out your 22.
No, don't do that either. I'm saying don't do any of that. Wow.
Just saying the BB gun would probably work.
We're going to have a whole different batch of Dear John letters next week. If you have some advice, you can chime in at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And in this letter they alluded to a couple weeks ago, we were saying, hey, if you've got some fun topics, because we had some pretty weighty topics there for a while, didn't we?
Oh, everything and I don't like those.
Kind of down.
I do want to say.
Oh, what's that?
That with my grandpa's method.
He
would sit in his backyard on the patio and watch the cats. The cats knew. And they would walk through everybody else's yard, and they would get to my grandpa's yard, and they would walk on the property line.
So you're saying it was effective?
And he'd sit back there and laugh. You remember how my grandpa would laugh? His shoulders would just shake.
So he didn't bother him if they weren't on his property.
Right. Oh, no.
Okay.
But if they came in and the cats knew. They just knew. They're like, okay, don't go there.
Don, I miss you and I love you. But boy, that was not a good idea. He was from a different era. Let's just put it that way. Well, again, if you would like to chime in, you can do that on our Facebook page. And again, I want to throw a plea out there. If you've got a fun topic for a Dear John letter, you can chime in with your Dear John letter or with an answer to this one at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Did you know that, actually I know you know this because we just talked about this. There's a goo that comes from the backside of a beaver.
A beaver. We did talk about this.
Is sometimes used to enhance vanilla flavoring. So the next time you eat something that flaunts the rich vanilla flavor, you might want to be aware, or maybe not be aware, of a thing called castoreum. It's a goo that gets excreted from a beaver's backside, and they use that to enhance flavors in vanilla foods. Like the vanilla flavoring in foods. Who discovered this, by the way?
Right?
Who discovered that? Like, what is this stuff?
Yeah,
It's got a good taste to it.
Nasty.
I mean, what were you doing out there? I don't think I want to know. This is today's kind of yucky fun fact.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline Quebec. Video of a cat getting a brain freeze after it tried ice cream for the first time has gone viral from Quebec. I didn't realize that, but I suppose animals can get brain freeze.
Yeah, I bet.
Now, we've had this discussion here before. It's gonna sound really weird, but I'm not a fan.
You are weird.
I'm not a fan of the brain freeze, but I'm a fan of the feeling right after the brain freeze. So, like, the brain freeze is terrible, but then right after that, it's just, like, almost euphoric. It's like, oh, you know what? It's almost worth the brain freeze because that feels so good. To just have that, like, rush of blood back to your brain. You know what I mean?
Completely disagree, but that's okay.
Now everybody wonders about me. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Oklahoma authorities say 3 kids broke into a school and trashed the place. More than $50,000 in damages.
People, get control of your kids.
Yeah, 6 years old, 8 years old, and 12 years old.
My gosh.
They broke a glass door to gain access to the Altus Intermediate School, and then they went on a vandalism spree. Surveillance cameras inside the school showed the juveniles damaging computers, dumping paint on floors and walls, using fire extinguishers inside multiple rooms, and damaging interior doors and interior windows. The police released photos of the damages showing red and blue paint splattered throughout the building,
my gosh,
with numerous objects knocked to the floor. The youngsters were arrested Sunday in connection with the burglary and then later released to their parents. I don't know what the situation is like in their household, but if I had done that when I was a kid, I would say,
can you imagine?
Can you please just keep me locked up in prison? Because my dad would not have been.
Oh my gosh,
that wouldn't have been good.
In so
but I got to tell
trouble.
you, I also would never have done that. And hopefully you wouldn't have either. And I don't know why they did it, but it's a bad idea. And I do have a link to the story. I just clicked on here to look, and yeah, it's a giant mess. Holy cow. Got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. Court records show a fight over directional arrows on the floor in a Goodwill ended in a pair of shoppers under arrest. 29-year-old Jenna Sims was inside a Tampa area Goodwill when she got into a confrontation with 50-year-old Paul Turner over the floor directions.
That's nice.
So she's 29, he's 50, both old enough to know better. The floor directions due to COVID-19. As part of the Goodwill Industries safety measures, one-way aisles have been established to allow patrons more easily maintaining their 6-foot distance. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Anyway, it says here, Sims was upset upon spotting Turner going the wrong way. During an ensuing argument, Sims struck Turner about his face, head, and body.
Oh
Turner
my gosh.
responded, shoving Sims away. Sims and Turner were each arrested for battery, a misdemeanor, and booked into the jail. They were released from custody after posting $500 each for bond. So, yeah, it's not a good idea. Bad idea. That's why it's today's moment of duh.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Heck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it fake news made up to trick you and amuse me? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. A Miami pet store owner found his shop door had been left open all weekend. Monday morning, all of his fish were eaten by neighborhood cats. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say fake news.
It is fake news. Guess who made this one up?
Was that you?
It was me. I was looking for a good one. I had somebody send in a really good one the other day, but I responded back to him because I got to make sure. I think that's what it was for. They sent an email through our website,
Right.
but it was literally like just a line, and then it said behind it, true story.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, was this fake news or Florida? Or I didn't know for sure. I responded. So if you sent that, look in your email because I replied back. I don't want to attribute that to something that it's not. So
Right.
anyway, I just made this one up. If you'd like to submit a
Good
fake
job,
news,
honey.
oh, yeah, thank you. I never get it. I don't think I've ever fooled you once. If you'd like to submit a story, you can do that at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of giftcardchallenge.org. I love this story. So there have been a lot of churches that have not been open because coronavirus and people concerned about, everybody being too close together. And there's a pastor who was celebrating his 73rd birthday, and he wanted to do something special because, he didn't get to be around all of his folks for a while. So he got an ice cream truck, and he celebrated his birthday by handing out hundreds of free treats. How cool is that?
That's fun.
He was driving an ice cream truck and handing out free treats on a hot summer day. Pastor Bill Lo Sasso founded the Florida Dream Center, St. Petersburg, Florida, works to help those trapped in hopeless situations and those down and out on their luck. Every weekend, his organization gives away 25,000 pounds of food. For his birthday, he wanted to relive his dream. At 17 years old, he drove an ice cream truck for a day. On Saturday, he handed out hundreds of ice cream cones and treats for free. So I'm going to go back and see here. So when he was 17...
When he was 17, he drove it for a day.
I wonder if that was the dream when he was 17 and that's how he got to drive it for a day today.
I don't know.
I'm not really sure. Out here, they don't get ice cream very often, he said. We had people tell us it's been a year and a half since they had ice cream, and little kids like it. Mr. Hillman, who drives the truck year-round, watched in amazement. He just thought it was so cool to watch what a huge impact this gentleman's having on people. And he's just driving around giving out free ice cream. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
That'd be so cool. We should go hijack an ice cream truck.
No.
Oh, no? Then we wouldn't be in the good news? We'd be in the bad news?
Yeah.
That's probably a bad plan. I do think this is a cool story. I have a link to it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.